Hey YouTube, been a while. We've been filling the freezer full of deer meat. We've had an awesome 2018 bow season. You guys can follow me. You know, I put a lot of hashtags in 2018 bow season, so check that out. But if you're not already subscribed to the Outdoor Mentor, I've started a new YouTube channel. Now, right here, this one, Dustin Apple, White River Rambo, whatever you want to call this channel, we're still going to have a lot of cool stuff going on in the shop. But for all my archery stuff, we're going to start a brand new channel, and I've called it the Outdoor Mentors. Now, I'm an outdoor mentor, but I'm also looking for other outdoor mentors. If you are a creator and you love the outdoors, especially archery, join me. Send me an email, send me a shout out, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the channel. But all in all, I want to create a archery community that will teach the entry-level person, whether they're 6 or 60, all the little tips and tricks that you need to know to get started into archery. Not only that, we're going to share tips and tricks of hunting as well. You know, why you set up a certain way, why we play the wind, why we, approach a stand the way that we do. All those things I know, and I'm sure you do too. But if you're new to the archery world, hey, not everybody has a mentor, right? So I'm going to be the outdoor mentor for all those new people entering my sport, the sport that I love. Today we're doing something pretty cool. Now, this is a shoebox compressor. And what it is, it's a high pressure air compressor for paintball. Well, paintball or PCP air rifles. Now, yeah, I'm a dark sider, okay? PCP air rifles use compressed air, high pressure air, okay? This compressor is capable of making 4,500 PSI. That's pretty impressive. And I've got me a good quality paintball tank here. And I reached out to, I'm gonna butcher your name, I'm sorry. Joe Brancato, I think Joe Brancato, okay? airtanksforsale.com. I'll do a little zoom in here and show you the gauges. But this gauge set specifically designed for this style setup. See, it's got the gel in there. And then on top here, this is my on-off knob. And then over here on the side is my bleeder knob. So when I'm done making air, or I'm done filling a rifle, I can turn my volume off, and then I can bleed the line. You would be absolutely amazed at the pressure that is on that line. Even though it's a quick detach, you're not going to be able to take it off unless you've got that bleeder. So this little set, like I said, comes from airtanksforsale.com, and Joe is an awesome guy. I've had this set for about 4 years now, but it's really pretty cool. What it does, I've got my air compressor regulated to 80 PSI, and without getting the manual out, I'm a guy, okay, it's been a while. I think 80, 85, something like that is the max PSI that you want to supply your tank with. And with this electric motor on top, it's got a little rocker on the side here, and on top there'll be a 1/4 inch rod, and on the bottom there's an 1/8 inch rod. Now what that does, each rod compresses and it sends air down to the next rod, and then finally onto my tank. So it's not a high volume compressor, it's a high pressure compressor. Each time it goes through a cycle, goes to a rod, goes to the next rod, comes out and goes to the tank, it's multiplying the PSI. When I started, I was at 2,000 PSI. We've been running for, I don't know, about 10 minutes now, and we're already up to 3,000 PSI. That's enough to run my air rifle. 200 bar, okay? The Europeans kind of go with the bar. We over here in the States pretty much use our stick with our PSI rating. Some of the newer PCP air rifles, I can't tell you what PCP stands for right now. Oops, maybe I should have done a little bit of research. I forgot. Pre-charged pneumatic. There it is. I remembered. Yay! But some of the newer PCP Darksider air rifles will take 4,500 PSI, and they're actually regulated. So I shoot Benjamin Marauder rifles. It's just what I had. I jumped on the bandwagon as soon as they come out, and I love them. They're awesome. Okay, they're shrouded, they're extra quiet, and I bought all this stuff when we had the ammunition scare, okay, when 22 rifle cartridges were getting to be really hard to find. Well, that compressor cost me about $1,200, and that regulator system on that air tank cost me about $250. But all in all, now I'm able to make high pressure air at home. Okay, all I need is 80 psi supply and 110 outlet. So chances are, if the power were to go out end of days, I could do all this with a generator if I had to. All right. Now that small tank, I think that's a 90 cubic centimeter tank. Anyway, I forget, but I can get about 15 fills off of that tank. Now, a fill isn't from 0 to 3,000. A fill would be, say, I know my gun shoots the best at 2,300, and it becomes a lot less effective under 1,800. So if I shoot my gun down to 1,800 PSI, then a fill would be from 1,800 to 3,000. Okay, so it's not a complete, volume every time. It's just a little shot here, a little shot there, and you're just taking the top end off of that bottle each and every time. But with an M-Rod, I got a 22 and I have a 25, but I primarily squirrel hunt with a 22, and I will take that 22 and I've got it peaked out to just a little over 1,000 PSI, or I'm sorry, just a little over 1,000 feet per second. And 1,000 feet per second out of a 22 pellet rifle is more than enough to take headshots on tree rats, and it's absolutely devastating. I've been more than impressed and more than happy with my purchase. I am looking to buy some more PCP air rifles in the future, but having this set up at home is absolutely priceless. Yeah, it's $1,500, but you know what? It cost me all that right now to buy. I've had the setup for about 4 years now, and it hasn't cost me a dime since. I've only had to use the compressor itself a couple of times because I'm a hunter. I don't really target shoot. So now I don't have to have the compressor, okay? I could take that paintball tank and go to a paintball facility or wherever that, sells high pressure air and have it filled. But you got to make sure the test, make sure the tank's been hydro tested, make sure it's in date, all of those things. And I don't rely, I'm sorry, I don't like relying on another person to, just period. I don't like having to rely on another person. So this way, unless that tank blows up, I don't have to answer to nobody. I don't have to drive so far to go get a tank filled. I don't have to have multiple tanks to keep my downtime low. I actually have a scuba tank, and a scuba tank is a very good low price option. However, a scuba tank, you can only fill up to 3,000 or 3,300 PSI. Now, since this small tank, I can take to 4,500 PSI, I can take a little bit off each time before I ever get down to 3,000, okay? With a scuba tank, it's at 3,000, and that's what I require. So I start taking a little bit off, even though it's a much larger tank. It's a lot quicker for me every time I go crack a tank and go to fill. It takes me less fills to where my fills aren't going a full 3,000 anymore. And for some of you that may be a big deal, for some of you it may not. If you bought one of the new PCP air rifles that use a 4,500 PSI tank, then it's probably not going to be an option for you. You're probably going to be disappointed. However, most guns with the new regulators are going to be regulated quite a bit lower than that, and the gun's going to shoot just fine. I know my MROD, the way I've got it tuned and set and peaked, I know once I get from 2,300 to 2,200, my groups are really tight, and I shoot very well. My pellets go in nice and hard. They shoot good and flat at that range. Above that, it's a little bit too much air, and they start getting a little bit sporadic. So instead of having a nice tight little group at 50 yards, I may have a quarter size group at 50 yards until I get down to that 2,300, and then I can really tighten it up and get really small. But for hunting, for me, hey, I don't care. Don't bother me a bit, because the number of squirrels that I've taken at 50 yards, hey, I can count on one hand, really. Usually I'm hunting in the summertime when the leaves are on and you can't see 50 yards, or like now in the wintertime where all the nuts are on the ground, all the squirrels are on the ground. So tomorrow I'm planning on slipping through some cedars and some thickets, and the squirrels are going to be on the ground with me. And that gets really exciting and really fun, because if I just sit still, they'll come check me out and come look at me, and chances are I'm going to have a less than 15-yard shot, and that's going to be pretty deadly. We're going to put some tree rats in the skillet tomorrow, I guarantee it. Guys, thanks for joining me. Always be safe no matter what you're doing outdoors, and join me in my new adventure called The Outdoor Mentor. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and even YouTube. We've started another channel. Everything archery, okay? No matter your experience, no matter your age, size, sex, I'm gonna teach you archery. And I'm also looking for other outdoor mentors to help me in my venture. We're going to create a very big community around instructional archery, as well as some little tips and tricks to make you a better hunter. I'm Dustin Apple, the Outdoor Mentor, and we'll see you over on that channel coming up real soon. Y'all stay safe. Have a happy Thanksgiving and a very Merry Christmas if I don't see you between now and then. Bye.